How's it going, everybody? Eco Austin here, and for my first video on this new transformation of my channel, I wanted to talk about something very, very important. That being the extinction of flora and fauna, aka plants and animals. Now, it has always been talked about, I felt, ever since I was, 10 years old about, save the whales, save the penguins, save the dodo bird, all that stuff. But it really is a serious issue, you know? Over 100 years of deforestation, all types of pollution, bringing in invasive species, and then that population exploding, get rid of all the native habitants, over harvesting and hunting of particular flora and fauna, climate change, population growth within our society. So humanity is growing more and more and more, exponentially. All of that has pushed nature to the brink, and we're doing barely anything about it. Like I said, ever since I can remember, it was talking about this is about to go extinct, or this is on the endangered list as, very important that we need to save. And there's only been a select few that I can think of off the top of my head where there was some type of reform on a nature preserve or in a zoo that allowed them to get put back into the wild, and the population would grow slowly but steadily. Everything else, I feel like things are dying off more than we're giving back, and that's the main issue. As countries get bigger, cities get bigger, so land use and the unsustainable use of natural resources also break down, the entire point of something being renewable. The whole point of this is so that we can use just enough that we need and be as efficient as possible in order to let it respawn, of sorts. However, the respawn isn't instant. It takes time, even oil is a natural resource, and it is renewable technically. It just takes millions of years. Do we expect it to come back anytime soon? Definitely not. So then why do we act like that for plants, animals, and everything else? That doesn't make any sense at all to me. Tell me what you think in the comment section. Another thing too is third world countries are just countries who weren't as rich as the top 50 countries out there. They are getting richer and richer. Their GDP is growing, and because of that, they are increasing their land use, use of natural resources, and increasing their levels of deforestation, and in turn pollution, and in turn over harvesting and hunting, because they are following the blueprint that is France, that is America, that is the UK, that is Germany, because that's their idea of their standard of living is what we're shooting for, and I can definitely respect that. However, the footprint on Earth is going to be much larger, just like it is in America, just like how it is in China, and all of us can't live like that. We can't simultaneously all take the same large chunk of the pie. There won't be any pie left, the pie being Earth, And then on top of that, we have all these legislative attacks. So depending on who is our president or prime minister or whatever, and meaning whatever their belief is, which it shouldn't be a belief, like this is scientific data that should not be able to be refuted, but depending on where they stand on the aisle, when they get into office, they then have the power to appoint who's in charge of their environmental policies, who's advising them, things like that. So that in turn could, turn into cutting budgets, can turn into even more degradation and not respecting what was already established, the progress that we've made thus far. And that's a major, major issue. So I don't like how that has become so political that people aren't thinking of, the grand design of nature and nurture, but instead it's what do my friends like? And that doesn't make any sense at all to me. So at the end of the day, we as people, as human beings, are the biggest threat to nature, when in truth, we have the largest impact on nature that we should be able to flip it and have a positive influence on nature. We have the ability to think in such a deep way that we easily overcomplicate things when we could be using that ability for good. If we're really on the top of the food chain, we should look out for the others. If we really are that smart, we should really be looking out for the others. The others being all living things, all organisms. You know, I don't care if your thing is, my goal is to, reduce how much water I'm wasting. It can be something that simple. Or, you know what, I'm a farmer and I'm not going to use this manure because I understand runoff into our rivers. Even that, it can be real small. It's just do your part. Do what you know you need to do. All these people that are saying, oh, I recycle. It's like, but do you know where that recycle bin's going? That's going in the same landfill as everything else. So it seems like natural extinction seems to not exist anymore because humanity is doing all of the work anyway. So Darwin's theory, I'm not sure how I feel about that because it is natural selection, Meanwhile, humans are hand-picking what survives and what doesn't, and that goes against all laws of nature. So in order to stop this, or at least slow it down, a lot of people and a lot of big business and a lot of governments had the goal of doing X or making something more efficient by 2025 or 2050 even. That the pace that we're on, we're not going to make it at all. So we need to increase society's efficiency and then shift our priorities to allow nature and humanity to coexist peacefully, not by force, not domesticate everything so we all living together. It's like, but we want control so bad that we're not letting flora and fauna thrive. I care about my puppy just as much as I care about the Amazon. I've never been there, but I care how much is being done to protect it, and those countries can still do well economically. It's just their priorities are, we need as much money as possible to increase our standard of living instead of starting from a place of sustainability and nature and nurturing, and instead it's all about the money. And by the time they make enough money to give back, it'll be way too late and it'll be the end of the world. So thank you guys for listening. I'll be posting every single day at around 1-ish. It's a little after 1. By the time it's uploaded, it'll probably be about 2 o'clock. But either way, thank you guys for listening. This was the extinction of flora and fauna, the issue behind it, and what can be done about it. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you. See you later. Deuces.